Okay, good morning. Welcome to
Family Math number 53.
Family Math number 53. Okay, so we're going to do one more estimating video today for Family Math, and we're going to estimate. Hold up your duplo blocks. Whoa, how many duplo blocks it would take to fill up this entire quilt, to cover the entire quilt with duplo blocks. So hold them up high so we can see how big the duplo blocks are compared to the quilt. Whoa, pretty small. All right, so how many duplo blocks do you think would it take to cover this whole quilt?
Around 300.
300. Okay, how many do you think?
Maybe like 2,000.
2,000. Oh, okay. Well, so we got some pretty different estimates. You remember how many bricks were in our chimney?
Around 10,000.
Around 10,000.
Except this isn't a rectangle.
What
it's not a rectangular prism.
Right, but it is a rectangle.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's about, let's call it 5 feet high, and bring this over there. Let's see how wide it is. Hold the end over there for me. Hold the end over there for me. And call it 7 feet long. So 5 feet high, 7 feet long, and our duplo blocks are squares, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And they're 1 1/4 inch squares. Okay, so you ready? Off to the whiteboard?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Off to the whiteboard. Hold the duplo block over. Okay, so here we are on the whiteboard, and we have our little problem. You can hold up your duplo blocks again. Okay, we're going to try to figure out how many of these 1 1/4 inch squares would it take to cover something that was 7 feet long and 5 feet tall. Okay?
Yeah.
So, first of all, let's figure out how many 1 1/4 inch squares would it take to go across 7 feet. Okay, but 1 1/4 is kind of a strange number, right? If we have one of them, it's 1 1/4. If we have two of them, do you know what 2 times 1 1/4 is?
It's 2.5.
2.5 inches.
Yeah.
If we have 3 of them, well, sorry, actually, let's make it simpler. If we have 4 of them, do you know what 2.5 inches plus 2.5 inches is?
Well, it's 2 plus 2 is 4.
2 plus 2 is 4.
And then, so that would be 5.
That would be 5. 2 plus 2 is 4. A half plus a half is 1. So 4 give you 5 inches. That means 8 give you 10 inches, right?
Yeah. Then, well,
let's see. 7 feet is how many inches?
Well, there's 12 inches in a foot.
Right, so what's 7 times 12?
It's 70, it's 84.
84. Okay, so we have to get to 84. Okay, so why don't we multiply by 10, right?
Yeah.
Because 80 of them will give us 80 inches. And then maybe we can just add... Sorry, we got to multiply by 8. I made a mistake. Got to multiply by 8. 8 times 8 is?
64.
64 gives us 80 inches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? And then we got to get to 84, but we could get to 85 as just an estimate, right?
Yeah.
So how many more blocks do I have to get to 85?
4 more blocks.
Okay, so that's 68, and that gives us 85 inches. So that's close enough. So it looks like we're going to have 68 blocks going across, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, 5 feet tall. How many inches is 5 feet tall?
Well, it's 60 inches.
It's 60 inches. Okay. How many blocks do we need to go 60 inches if 8 blocks give us 10 inches? How many blocks give us 60 inches? What do we have to multiply 10 by to get 60?
6.
Do you know what 8 times 6 is?
Well, 8 times 6 is... I know it's, 6 times 8.
Yeah, 6 times 8 is?
I think it's 48.
That's right, 48. Okay. So we've got to do 68 times 48 to figure out how many blocks we have. Now, since we're just estimating, what's going to be a lot easier than doing 68 times 48?
70 times 50.
70 times 50. It's going to be about 68 times 48, right? But it's a lot easier to do. Go. So 70 times 50. Can you tell me what that is?
3,500.
3,500. Okay, so there we go. So if we wanted...
That's a lot of blocks.
That is a lot of blocks. It's always more than you think, right? It's always more than 300. How many do you think? Did you remember?
I thought like 2,000.
You thought about 2,000? Okay, well, 3,500 is pretty close to 2,000. So if we were going to cover that whole quilt with duplo blocks, we would need about 3,500 blocks. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at that before we finish, okay?
Yep.
Okay, so here we're back at the quilt. So hold up your little duplo blocks. Face them towards me. Okay, so we got to zoom in, zoom in. Those duplo blocks, face it towards me. Okay, there you go. 3,500 of those blocks to cover up that whole quilt. Okay?
Yep.
Pretty cool, right?